I'd like to invite Amy Rutledge to come up. Amy is our chair of the World Servants. They are responsible for making sure that beyond this community we make a difference. I'm just going to keep talking until you walk up here, so it could be hours. Amy has a new thing for us to be considering, something that's dear to her heart, and I think will be for yours as well. So Amy, please.
Good morning, church family. Thanks. All right. As Pastor Tom said, my name is Amy Rutledge, and I'm your new World Servant leader. The World Servant team, it's made up of individuals who are involved with missions that currently serve our local community very well, such as Halifax Urban Ministries, First United Methodist Children's Home, a Room at the Inn, and the Thrift Boutique. Well, in the past, our church has also had a focus on international missions, traveling to places like Guyana, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. Well, as your World Servant leader, and the fact that I'm going on a mission trip to Africa this summer with a charitable organization called HUGS, I felt this was an opportunity to reintroduce you all as a church to international missions. I'd like to share with you what I'll be doing this summer, who HUGS is, and how I got involved. And who knows where this might lead. You might be interested in joining the team. You might find your definition of neighbor expanding. Pastor Tom preached on the story of the Good Samaritan a couple of weeks ago. And in Luke 10, Jesus confirmed what the expert in the law had said was correct when he said, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." The Good Samaritan, the man who had mercy on the beaten man left for dead on the side of the road, was treating this stranger as his neighbor. Well, HUGS, which stands for Helping Ugandans Grow Stronger, is a small nonprofit charity founded by Vicky and Larry Gibson. Vicky was a nurse who went to Uganda to do some volunteer work, and she fell in love with the people there, and she and her husband subsequently adopted 3 Ugandan children and started this organization with the mission of helping Ugandan families and improving the lives of children. My involvement with HUGS started approximately 3 years ago when I decided to go on a trip to a refugee settlement in northern Uganda. Well, actually the word decided is a very inadequate word for me to use because it doesn't even begin to convey the personal torture I went through in making the decision to say yes. Maybe for some of you out there, the thought of international missions is very exciting, but to a full-fledged homemaker, stay-at-home mom, quilter, gardener, beach-loving, family-oriented homebody, it was a frightening proposition. Besides the fact that I had never had a desire to go on an international mission trip, and certainly not all the way to Africa. However, what I did have was a desire for something more in my life. One child was already out of the house, and our last was a senior in high school. My job as a mother was winding down. I believe this is when God decided to work on something that had ruled my life, and that was fear. And at that time, also, to change my focus to Him and His plans for me. The seed was planted by my cousin, Jessica, who'd been on a HUGS trip to Uganda the year before. A meeting for potential team members was at Marley's Coffee House. Would I like to come? I felt some excitement, but mostly the thought filled me with fear. However, I truly believed that God was giving me an opportunity to step out of my comfort zone and follow Him. When I found out that not only was my cousin going on the trip to this refugee settlement in Uganda, but her boyfriend, now husband, I was like, oh man, a man to protect us. And her mother was going, my favorite Aunt Michelle. I thought, thank you, God, for making it easier for me to say yes. The thought of traveling with my family made me feel safe. Well, wouldn't you know that 2 or 3 months before the trip, my cousin informed me that she was pregnant. And not only was she not going, unable to go, but her boyfriend and mother really wanted to do this trip with her, so they were not going this year either. Well, it has a happy ending. I decided to listen to my heart. God gave me a supportive husband and 2 wonderful Bible study groups, and to help me, get there. And once I landed in Uganda, the fear was gone. Right now, I'd like to show you a short video of hugs that I put together showing what the last 2 trips to Uganda were about. So that was 2012 and 13, and what our current project is about.
Those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the sons of God.
All the poor and powerless.
So this June, I'm going to be part of a team traveling to Chakatu, the refugee settlement in western Uganda. This settlement is home to over 16,000 refugees, of whom the majority are women and children. This year's commitment is to the Angels Care School, a successful primary school in a settlement that has swelled to over 500 students, grades 1 through 7. And the students are a mix of Ugandans and refugees from countries such as Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Burundi. The refugees are not Ugandan citizens, and they cannot or will not, out of fear of persecution, return to their mother country. Chakatu is referred to as a settlement camp as opposed to a refugee camp. Because a refugee and his or her family, they're given a piece of land to build a shelter on and to produce their own food. So upon arrival, the refugees are given land, a hoe, a tarp, seeds, and food rations for a few months. And they build themselves a mud and stick home with a tarp as the roof, and they're expected to begin providing food for themselves. They're allowed to sell any extra that they grow, and that, along with any casual labor they can pick up, allows some of the families to send their children to Angels Care School. And it's the students' tuition is what pays the teachers' salaries. The school consists of 2 structures right now that are made of stick and mud, and they have 4 classrooms each. One of the buildings has been crumbling, and over the time, the patch repairs are just not enough. So Pastor Godfrey, who is the founder of the school there, he's a Ugandan pastor. He's seeking help in the form of funds to build a new school. Well, to build a new 4-classroom building out of bricks. Locals will make all the bricks for the school, and Hugs is committed to raising the $15,000 necessary to build the school. So in addition to the supplies, the proposal includes hiring the local labor force to build the school. This also benefits the children when the men in the family have work, and of course the local economy. In school, the children from these different countries, this is their opportunity to all learn English, which is the official language of Uganda. As refugees are allowed to apply for jobs in Uganda alongside Ugandan citizens. Education's really the only hope that these children have of just moving out of the settlement and making a better life for themselves. So these are children that have been profoundly affected by tragic hardships. I'm asking you to consider partnering with me, First Church, in this distant land, yet as I see it, my neighbor, our neighbor, to make a difference in their world, to give them hope and to show them love. I am sensitive to the fact that that there is plenty of need in our own community, and I believe it's important to support those needs. However, I also know that there are children born in desperate places and times that don't have the necessary resources available to help them improve their lives. I feel like the Samaritan traveling along the road who came across a man left for dead. Like, this is one small community that was brought to my attention that I traveled along my path in life that I felt I could not ignore. So now I'm sharing this community with you, along with the opportunity to help provide for these children in need. I know that today is the 5th Sunday collection for the Children's Home, and I don't want to take away from that mission in any way. So I'm basically considering today like my kickoff day or my kickoff week. So for the next 4 weeks, I'd like to remind you about the trip and hope that you will consider supporting this project in whatever way God puts on your heart, with your prayers, maybe with your finances, a fundraiser, maybe a call to go on this trip. If you choose to donate, I just want you to know that 100% of your donations will go to the building at the school. I pay my own travel. Otherwise, I plan on having a flyer in the bulletin next week, maybe an envelope, and just a reminder about the project and how you might be a part of it. And I'll just keep you updated on our progress. Thank you for your time.